Okay, so we're gonna get started. For equipment today, you really only need one set of weights. I have a lighter and a slightly heavier, but that is optional. I would go lighter if you're only gonna use one. And then I've got resistance band and unweighted stability ball, also optional. And that's it. So we're gonna start at the top of the mat and do a couple of sun salutations to warm up. So rolling those shoulders down away from the ears. Standing up nice and tall, lengthening through the spine. Check that pelvic positioning so that you're not tilting your pelvis downward and creating that curve in your back, and equally you're not thrusting your hips forward. Find that neutral position. Chin tucked slightly towards your chest, shoulders down and away. Inhale and exhale, press the palms together, finding your hands at heart center. So even though this isn't a traditional yoga practice, I encourage you to remember to breathe. It is the most important aspect of yoga. So inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your nose, and always remembering to continue that breath, matching breath to movement where possible. So we'll do a couple of sun salutations with just some things inserted in the middle here to warm ourselves up. Inhaling, extending the arms upwards, slight gentle back bend. Exhale, releasing down to the floor. Inhale, sliding hands halfway up, flat back. And step the right foot back, coming to that lunge, and then just drop the back knee to the floor and extend. And release down and extend. So slight bend and really straightening through the hamstring to create length. One more time. Good, step that second foot back, coming to plank. We're going to start straight away with push-ups. So find your push-up position. You can keep your hands narrow and do chaturanga style push-ups, or you can bring your hands wider and do a more traditional push-up. And by all means, drop to knees. And you also don't have to go very low. You can do little half push-ups to build strength. We're just going to do 5, lowering down, exhale up, and 4, and 3, and 2. Last one, coming back to plank. Bring those hands back into your regular plank position, lowering all the way down to the mat, elbows hug the rib cage. Inhale, rising up to cobra, curl the toes under, press back, downward facing dog, press the heels towards the mat. Extend the right leg high overhead. Inhale, exhale, draw the knee towards chest. Extend, and 2. Last one. This time plant that foot down, coming to that lunge. Left hand stays in the mat, turning and twisting, opening to the right. 3 big circles with the arm, reaching forward for 3, for 2, for 1, and then plant that right hand down, stepping the left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, sliding halfway up, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Sorry, something seems to have just happened with this other camera. Nope, we're good. Okay. And again, inhale, extend up. Exhale, flex forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. This time stepping the left foot back, long lunge. Remember, knee over ankle, always finding that alignment. Dropping that back knee down and extend. Release down, really pressing through the heel. Just try to get a nice hamstring stretch here to start to warm up the legs. And then step the right foot back, 5 more push-ups. I'm going to go ahead and keep my hands narrow this time and do chaturanga style. Your option if you bring them wider. Lower down, exhale, press up. It's harder to do them from here. They work slightly different parts of the muscle group, but neither one is better or worse. And then press yourself up and back. Downward facing dog, pressing into the palms, pressing the heels into the mat, rolling shoulders away. Left leg extends up. Exhale, hinge forward, and of course the phone rings. Not going to answer it. It's never for me. It is always a wrong number. 3 times. And then place that foot down. Coming to your long lunge. Right hand stays in the mat. Turning and releasing up. Arm extends up. 3 circles. Sometimes people think it's a dry cleaner. I actually just pretend I don't speak Spanish and I just say I don't speak Spanish, and then they realize they have the wrong number. Step the right foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, rising halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way to the top. And exhale. Hands to heart center. Good. Hopefully starting to feel a bit warm, a bit annoyed by the ringing phone. Sometimes city life gets to me. I have to take a few deep breaths. Okay, so I want you to grab your weights and just have them handy. I'm going to bring both sets of mine, finally, I'm going to bring both sets of mine up here because we are going to start to use them, so just have them close by. All right, inhale, extending the arms upwards. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. This time, option to hop back. So you can definitely step one foot followed by the other, or you can jump both feet back to plank. Holding plank for a moment. And then let's go ahead and do chaturanga here, lowering down and pressing up, upward facing dog. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Extend the right leg up, swing it forward, plant it down, rising up into a high lunge. Taking a deep breath here. Opening the chest, beginning to back bend a little bit, pressing through that back heel. And then pivot, turn this into warrior two. Holding here for a moment, pressing out through that thigh, rolling the shoulders down and back. Good, and then straighten that leg, and then just bring your feet slightly closer together, toes turned out. So now, grab a set of weights. So I'm going to take 5-pound weights. I wouldn't do heavier than that, but you can definitely do lighter. We're going to come down into a moving goddess pose. So basically plies or squats, and we're going to be adding some arm work with this. So you can do it without any weight or with lighter weights, you decide. So with the squats or the goddess, make sure that you're pressing your hips back, you're trying to track your knees over ankles, which I really struggle with, and you're staying nice and tall. And then when we stand up, contracting the glutes to get just a little bit of extra definition there, okay? So we're gonna just keep moving. We're gonna start with bicep curls. So as we go down, we curl up. Squat down and curl up. Constantly thinking about pressing out through the thighs so the knees are tracking over ankles. Standing nice and tall. And if you're not using weights, that's totally fine. Just think about your own resistance. So you're not throwing the hands up, you're pressing up, creating that resistance. I should probably count instead of talking, or we'll just do a million of these. I think I intended to do 20, and I think that was about 10. So let's do 10 more. 10 and 9. And we're just gonna keep moving as we move on to the next arm exercise, okay? So you're just gonna keep that plie, that goddess pose going. 3 and 2, we're gonna switch to upward rows, and 1. So now turn the palms towards you and pull up, and up. We'll do 20 of these. Ish. We all know my counting skills leave a little bit to be desired. It's not always intentional. 15. Staying tall, remembering contract the glutes on the way up. Being very careful that you're not tracking forward. If you hinge forward here and your knees collapse inward, it's really hard on your knees and you're not getting the benefit that we want. I lost my rhythm in the glutes. Really need to pull that pelvis under. Try to stay vertical. Let's call this 5 and 4. From here, we're going to go to hammer curls. 3 and 2. Last one, keep going with the legs. Turn the palms inward and hammer curl up for 20. So doubling up, getting arm work, getting leg work. I think that's about 6, right? Good. Definitely starts to build heat. So the idea with this practice is, of course, to use these yoga-inspired moves, but get you moving, get your heart rate up a little bit, building heat while we build muscle. But finding those yoga postures, which are safe, increase flexibility. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last set of 20 is going to be overhead. We're going to press up, squeeze down, press up, squeeze down. So particularly if you're not using any weight, you can really pull this down. If you're using weight, of course, gravity is really helping you bring the weights down. But you can really be working both on the up, pressing against gravity and against the weight, And also in this lat pull down, squeeze those shoulder blades together. This is going to be our last set here. 10, 9, and of course the deeper you go, the harder this is. Sometimes it's easy to start making little teeny baby pliés towards the end. 5, and 4, and 3, and 2. Last one, very nice. Just bend forward safely if you're using weights. Place those on the floor. Pivot back to the front of your mat. Hands find the mat. Step that right foot back. Chaturanga. Inhale up, cobra up dog. Exhale, press back. Down dog. And take a breath here in down dog. I'm out of breath. Of course, it doesn't help that I'm talking, so I'm not breathing. Press your hands into the mat. Roll your shoulders away. Press your heels into the mat. Extend the left leg up. Swing it forward, plant it down, rising up into your lunge here. I'm going to turn around here, because otherwise I'm going to have my back to you. But just stay in that lunge. I'm just going to pivot this way. Again, opening the chest and shoulders, little bit of a back bend. Transitioning to your warrior 2. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. Extend that front leg. Walk the feet together, this time coming parallel. Hinge forward. Releasing all the way down, forward fold, let your head go. Taking a breath. Have your weights handy. Go ahead and roll yourself back up. Okay, so this time we're going to hinge forward. We're going to find flat back and we're going to grab our weights. So we're going to hinge forward. You're supporting your body here with your abdomen. Careful not to lock out your knees, okay? Little bit of a micro bend. Grab the weights. Find that flat back position. Belly button pulling in, and we're going to do rows from here. So we're going to pull the weights towards our body and release. We're going to do 20 of these. So you should be feeling a stretch in your hamstring, but again, we're not locking our knees. Your core is working here to keep you supported. Trying to flatten the back, so that upper back will tend to round. Try to pull your clothing away from your back, create that flat back. But you're pulling in the belly button, so you're not curving through the low back in the opposite direction. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one here. Bring the arms down, turn the palms towards one another, and we're going to go open out to the side. Now, if you're using heavier weights, 5-pound weights, you definitely might find that you want to use a lighter weight here, so you can certainly switch that up. We're lifting up and down. You don't want to put too much weight on your shoulder. We'll see how I go. I'm using the 5-pound. I think I'll be okay, but definitely 3-pound would be fine here. And calling that 10. Using the breath. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Safely bend the knees, release the weights to the mat, and then just fold over. Letting go of anything in your back. If you want to bend the knees and lunge side to side, you certainly can. Good, releasing that. And go ahead and step that left foot back to meet the right. Coming to plank, lowering down, chaturanga. Inhale, rising up, cobra up dog. Exhale, pressing back. Downward facing dog, pressing into the palms, rolling the shoulders away, pressing into the heels. Bend the knees and hop both feet forward or step either foot forward, followed by the other. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale. hands to heart center. Okay, excellent. So if you've got a resistance band, you can grab that. If you have multiple, for this one you might want to use the stronger one. If you just have one, that's fine. If you have none, this exercise is going to be challenging even without this. So if you're using a resistance band, stay standing, slip it on so it comes over your knees. We're going to use one weight. So again, it's up to you what weight you want to use, but just one is sufficient. So we're going to be moving, holding the weight steady while we're moving our leg, okay? So I've got the weight, so you're mirror me, you can have the weight in the right hand, so you're holding in this bicep curl. We're going to stand on our right leg, or if you were unstable, put that hand on something instead. And we're going to be lifting the left leg out to the side. Lift and lower. And lift. And lift. So again, if you don't have weight, you might find that you can lift the leg higher, but careful not to lean into this. See if you can stay vertical. And we're not moving too fast. It's not a kick, because you don't want to be using momentum. And that's 10. Lift. Good. It's quite difficult to keep your balance while you're using this resistance and holding a weight for 5, 4, 3, 2, woo. Last one. Now bring this foot behind the other so that the heel of the front foot is at about the arch of the back foot. Extend the arm out in front of you, and we're going to lift that leg behind us. Lifting up. So the right arm is extending, the left leg is just rotated out. So it's rotated out from the hip. The heel of the front foot makes contact with the arch of that back foot when it comes in. It's kicking behind. Good. Working a different part of the glute. 10 more here. Trying to stay fairly vertical so that you're not leaning into this. If that arm gets tired that's extended, you can lower it. Mine is shaking right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Good. Come back to center. Square those feet off. Switch hands. Left hand holds the weight. Here at a 90-degree bend. Right leg's going to lift out. Lifting up for 20. Standing tall. So our core is working to keep ourselves stabilized here. So you might notice that it's firing on. That's a good thing. Holding this here, stable, while the leg is moving. Lots of work, very efficient. That's 10, 10 more for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, careful not to kick, especially if you're not using a band. Last one, working with your own resistance. All right, left foot stays where it is, right foot comes behind, arch of the right foot to the heel of the back foot, the heel of the front foot, extending the arm, and lift that leg straight behind. Lift up. So careful that we're not going into our low back, so it's not a very high lift, because we want to be working here in our gluteal muscles. All of this is glute work. Front arm is steady, and if it's too heavy a weight, you'll notice tension in your shoulder. We don't want that, so you can always lower it down or just release the weight altogether. Well, you know, don't release it from up here in the air, obviously. Bring it down, and then bring your arm back up empty. And 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. You'll notice your standing leg hurts. That's intentional. I mean, not the pain part, but it's working. Okay, if you've got a weight, go ahead and put it down. We're done with the weights, at least for now. You can leave the band on. We're gonna come down to the mat. So just work your way out. We're gonna come to a low plank. So forearm plank, keeping the band on if you have it on. Belly button pulling in, finding that plank position. Long line from your shoulders through your toes. So your gaze is in between your arms, not down at your feet, and not up in front of you. You're looking right down into the mat. We're just gonna hold for 30 seconds here. Breathing in, breathing out. 5 more seconds of hold. And you're not gonna get a break after that, it's just we're gonna stop holding. So drop the knees down and squeeze up. Drop down and up. Knees come to the mat and then squeeze back up. If at any point this just becomes too much, you can just stay on the knees in the modified plank. Really squeeze the glutes as you come back up. Get that little bit of extra definition. From here, we're gonna go to a side plank. You can do either side. I'm gonna do left, just so I'm facing you guys this first time. So pivot onto your side plank arm, bringing hand to hip, or you can have your hand in front of you to stabilize yourself if you want, because then we're gonna lift this top leg up for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Anyone else shaking? I'm shaking. 2. Last one. Good. Come back to center. Opposite or alternate legs. Bend one knee, bend the other knee. Bend one knee, bend the other knee. 30 seconds here. And then obviously we have to do the other side. We must be even. Ooh, I am dripping. Dripping with sweat. Detoxifying my body, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Turning into your other side plank, so make sure you do the opposite arm. Sure you don't want to do the same one twice. And lift up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Release that down, drop onto your knees, and stretch back in child's pose. Release the head down to the mat. Good, coming out onto our abs. The band can stay on or off, it's not serving any purpose right now. We're just gonna lift up and hold. Arms can be wherever. I've got mine in cactus. More challenging is gonna be to reach them out in front. You can certainly bring them behind and lift up higher if you wanted. You decide. Legs lift, chest lifts, squeezing the shoulder blades together wherever your arms are, squeezing the gluteals for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release that. Whew. Let it go. Okay, roll yourself over. If you've got the band, you can keep the band for a moment. I'm gonna do one more with it. Come down onto your forearms. So chest is lifting, abs are in, shoulders are pulling away, feet are together. Press open and hold for 3, 2, 1. Bring the legs together. Open and hold. And back together. Keep going. Open and hold and squeeze. So that little bit of hold challenges the muscles. Again, if you're not using the band, that's fine. Just imagine that you're pressing against weight. I'm sure there's something you could substitute for this, but they're not expensive. You could socially distance and order them. I'm sure from the company that I never ordered from, but I got these directly from this vendor, which is called Perform Better. They were like $3, maybe $4. It was one of those things, I think the shipping costs more than the bands. And release. Let's do 5 more. And 4. And 3. And the thing with our gluteals is they're such big muscles. They are so hard to work. You do like millions of squats. Last one. Hold it out and pulse out. Out, out. So the bands are just great because they add that extra weight, that extra resistance, and they make those muscles work harder. That toning of the glutes for me is like the hardest thing. There's certainly a fair amount of genetics involved, and I'm convinced that women who were athletes when they were younger just develop those muscles and they have them. And I was not an athlete when I was younger, so I don't have that going for me. But yeah, we work with what we have. And the most important thing is not the shape, but is the strength. The glutes really support our spine. And someday when we're 95 years old, I want us all to be able to easily get out of our chairs because we have strong glutes. 3, 2, 1, and release. Woo, okay. You can take off the band. I've got a couple more minutes before I have to let you go. Grab your lighter weights if you have them. All right, so you have options here. I don't think I'm going to use the ball, actually, now that I think of it. You have options. You can keep your feet on the floor, and if you want, you can squeeze the ball between your knees. That's going to be option number 1. Option number 2 is going to be to bring the legs to tabletop. Option number 3 is going to be to extend the legs, okay? From here, we're going to lift the arms up for 5. Woo! 4, have to find that balance. 3, 2, and 1. Good. If the legs are bent or straight, lower them down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring them back up. Arms again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs again. Lower down and lift for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring yourself up. If you do have the ball, go ahead and place it between your knees. Squeeze it together. Again, it just sort of works those muscles there. Squeeze in. Not necessary. Bringing the hands to your chest. I need to turn. Bring the hands to the chest. You're still hinging back. We're still working abs. We're going to open, squeeze together. Open and squeeze. Squeezing the ball between the knees if you're using it. Keep the chest lifted. No rounding of that low spine. Belly button pulling in. And 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Pull yourself up. Now if you use the ball, you can get rid of it. Lower yourself down onto the mat. You can still be using weights if you want. Cross your arms across your chest. Extend your legs long. We're going to do little crunches from here. Just lift up and squeeze up. If this bothers your neck, not having your hand back there, you can place one weight down. Just use one weight and let the other hand support your neck. Up and up. 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, release the weights to the side, bend your knees, feet flat on the floor. Just lift up to a bridge just to stretch out the abs, so take a couple of breaths. Inhaling into the belly, pushing the hips high. Lower that down. Hug your knees to your chest. Give yourself a little rock from side to side. Massage the low back. And then rock yourself up to sit. Extend the legs in front of you, flexing the feet. Inhale, extend the arms upwards. Exhale, release down, forward fold. Holding there. Couple of breaths. And roll yourself back up. And sitting up nice and tall. Lengthening through the spine. One deep inhale together. Exhale. Bring the hands to heart. And there you go. 30 minutes of Yogatōn. Done and done.